I'll start off by saying I certainly understand now. This is the first time we've had media day here at Texas State. I know what it takes now. It takes free lunch. And so I've heard that before, but it is exciting for us because even with this is an indication of how times have changed at Texas State for baseball. To be honest with you, I don't know the only other times we've really had media days where more than Tyler and a handful of people who show up would be in regional tournaments or postseason play. And so I certainly think it indicates the expectations and the growth of our program and what all it's become and what it's going to continue to become. This has been a strange beginning of a year for us in a sense of the beginning of this season. There's probably an equivalent of 9 guys that would have been on this pitching staff that are not on the pitching staff right now due to professional baseball and or injuries. And so what I would say, and the reason why I tell people that is not for anybody to feel any different for our current team, but for them to appreciate and understand the attitude that these guys have had every day when they come to the ballpark. They still think they're going to win championships, and they may. They still believe in what they're capable of doing. And these guys are smart. If you guys ever underestimate a college athlete and what they think and what they see and what they understand, don't, because they're smarter than most people give them credit for sometimes, because they look at it, they know the guys that would have been pitching, they know guys that would have been out there and guys that are hopefully going to be able to come back later on. And these guys' attitude haven't changed one bit. Matter of fact, actually it's gotten better. And so there's a sense of commitment from these guys that they do want to do something great, they do want to win championships, they do want to have a great season, and I've been certainly proud with the amount of work, effort that these guys have put in so far, and most coaches are at this time of year, but I certainly am, because they understand what they're trying to do and who they're doing it with now. And so schedule is, I'll run through this briefly and you guys can ask questions. Schedule is what it is. I think it's the most challenging schedule we've had. If you go and look, the last 3 years, Texas State has gone, this will be our 3rd conference in 3 years. That's a lot of change. Any kind of relationship that you have that changes year after year, it's going to be changed for you. I thought we did a decent job of trying to transition from the South into the WAC last year. We had a chance to play for the regular season championship. On the last weekend, we had a chance to play the tournament championship. And so, I mean, we competed for both championships. This year, we go to the Southland. You guys are all good at your homework. They had 4 teams in the regional last year. I think they were the 5th or 6th rated conference in the country last year, right behind the Big 12. And so it tells you the type of weekend play that we'll be involved with. In the past, Texas State's always been known for their midweek schedule and how challenging their non-conference schedule is. And it remains the same. When you look at, we'll play Texas a couple times, Rice a couple times, Baylor a couple times, A&M. And so we have a few people coming in, Valparaiso. And so the midweek non-conference schedule will be what it's always been, will be a challenge for us. Weekend-wise, you look at what we do tomorrow. We open with Michigan, a Big Ten school. We get a Pac-12 school the next day with Washington, and then Air Force on Sunday. UC Riverside comes in later on, I think the next weekend, or something similar to that, and they'll end up being a top 30, 40 program in the country too from the West Coast. And so the schedule is great. Why do we do it? The challenge of it's fun, the excitement of it is great. You expect it. More importantly, our players recruit to it. They like it. This is what they want to become. I also believe that if you're going to claim to be a big program, you got to line up and play the big boys on a regular basis. If you aspire to be somebody, then you need to stand and do the same thing. And that's certainly what we do. It is a great challenge for us, but also it has a big reason to do with why our season tickets have gone from, in 2009, 150 to this year we'll be right at 850 season tickets for the very first time, which is good for us. Maybe average for some other people, but Texas State, that ain't bad. And so it's a continuing growing process for us.
Coach, how would you compare the competition between the WAC and the Sun Belt that you guys are going to be facing this year?
I'm sorry,
the
what?
Conference competition, how would you compare them between the WAC and the Sun Belt?
Yeah, no, I think the Sun Belt's going to be tougher. Even with the teams that have left and the teams that are still there, I believe it's going to be a much more difficult challenge for us. but also an exciting challenge. The league will be tougher, the weekend games. You know, I've called around, I know a lot of the coaches in the Sun Belt and tried to, you know, just pick their brains a little bit about what the league is like. And I was in it a long time ago as an assistant coach at Arkansas State, but that's been several years ago. And so, I mean, it'll be different now. But it was a great league then. And I think what you're going to see, the weekend starters in this league on the mound are going to be really good. And it has historically been a very offensive league. But it'll be a great challenge for us.
I was talking with Ricky after their games on Sunday, and she mentioned how strong her fall was, how fall ball went for them. Can you touch on that? And you know, how did fall ball go for you guys? Do you think the team coming in confident in the season, what they were able to do? Yeah,
I thought the fall was good for us. Tyler, we had a lot of guys new guys that came in that had to get acclimated in a hurry, and I thought it was good. I thought our leadership in the fall, you're looking for a little bit of leadership. I'll date back the leaders, and three of these guys are here today, and it dates back to the last game we played. This is old news, but also part of their personality. We play a game, the last game of the year last year, it's for nothing but pride and sheer love of playing a baseball game. But the way that it was set up, the tournament. These guys went out and played as pretty a baseball game as you could put together and as competitive a baseball game as you could under circumstances where the other team was trying to still get in the championship game and we couldn't. That attitude of they like to play and carried that into this fall, that attitude still exists. And so our leadership from the fall was great. The attitude of who these guys are and what they're trying to become was great. That part of it was good. I thought it also helped our freshmen get acclimated. We have as many as 5 freshmen that are going to help this team this year in different capacities. And so the leadership part of it, so as far as was it a successful fall, yes, from that standpoint. And certainly development-wise for the young guys, I thought it was.
Coach, you mentioned, you touched on your schedule for this weekend by looking at your schedule. You got a Big Ten team coming in here, you got a Pac-12 team coming in here. You turn right around on Tuesday and take on Rice. If you could just speak to how important it is for you to kind of just jump in head first and find out quickly who's going to be able to be out there for you consistently. And
you know, I think what's going to be important for us to identify, obviously through every game you start to identify things that you're not doing well yet. But for us, we need to find out who's going to go to the mound and be successful for us at the mound early. And we're going to start finding out as early as tomorrow. That part of it, when you face lineups against good teams, usually against average teams, you have 2 guys you got to zero out in a game. And if you're able to do that, you're going to win. When you play the teams and the lineups that we play, there are more guys in that lineup you have to try to zero out. And so you go 1 through 9 now. So what that does is pitchers can't kind of take a break. They got to stay focused on it the whole time. And certainly right now, this way the schedule is set up for us, the pitching side of it, the depth part of it is going to be huge for us. And finding that out over the next few days is certainly this weekend and then Tuesday against Rice. You'll start to find out who wants to step into the moment and who might be, you know, not there yet, but hopefully will be later.
This program's used to 35, 40-win seasons.
Yeah.
Last year, didn't even reach 30.
Yeah.
We finished 500. How much, if any, does that still weigh on this? Not really weigh on this team, but drive this team to do better this year?
A lot, all of us. You know, I mean, we got off to a slow start last year, and if you go back, and you know, every coach loves to come through in a positive way, but the reality was, if you go back and look at the last month of the season, we were pretty good, and we got to where we were starting to offensively grow, and we had a new hitting guy who came in. I thought he really got the team acclimated to what he really wanted later part of the season. To answer your question is, yeah, we want better, we expect better, and we've done that for years here. And we will again. And but yeah, it motivates. I mean, you can ask these guys when they get a chance to come up here in a minute. And definitely not taking away from anything that those guys are on that team last year, because again, I thought the last month was good. But it drives them. They want to win. They have goals just like, you know, we do, and expectations and thoughts. And so I'm sure there's been some days when they're probably a little bit tired if they thought about last year to help them some. If didn't, we probably helped them a little bit with it too.
Coach Irvington, 16 in the first 20 at home to start the season.
Yeah.
Did you set that up on purpose?
No, I'd love to tell you I'm not smart. No, we have a person who does those for us, and now I okay everything. My assistant coaches, this is, I think it was either Mike Silva's schedule or Jeremy Fecott's last schedule, I can't remember. And because scheduling is 2 and 3 years in advance now. It just worked out that way, to be honest with you. And The tournament we've always had. This is the last year for it. And it's always been kind of fun. When I say the last year, next year Oregon State comes in on opening weekend for a trip that we went out there for a week last year. And played Oregon State and Oregon. And so Oregon State will come in. So the tournament will change next year. But it's always kind of been a historic thing we've had since we opened up the stadium. I like it's probably, we can go out and find people who want to come down a little bit early in the year because of hopefully tomorrow, which is supposed to be 75. So hopefully it continues to be that.
Not that warm.
Obviously, then 16 of the first 20 at home is important to get off to a good start.
Yeah, we need to. The home crowd has got to help us. The comforts of being in our own, baseball park, knowing the differences in that park and how it plays, needs to play in and help us in our confidence. It needs to help us in the sense that we're staying at home, sleeping in our own beds and the same routines. All those things need to come into play for us. And if it does, it could allow us to really get off to a great start and feel comfortable and confident about what we're doing. Last year we were digging ourselves out of a hole the whole time, record-wise. And let me tell you what, man, you get enough losses on your belt, confidence-wise, anybody does. I mean, you write a handful of bad stories in a row, your confidence gets rough. That's right. And so you're constantly trying to regain it, and it's tough. And when the schedule, when you're struggling, and all of a sudden you get on a plane, you're going to go play Oregon and Oregon State 5 straight games. It gets to be a challenge. The guys never got to where they quit getting after it, which is why I think the personality from last year, going back to your question, still exists in that team today.
Does it help us stay more local, though, to play baseball that you're used to, not have to go to the West Coast, with all this?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Irvine's coming in. They play a whole other kind of baseball. I mean, they're reckless not reckless. When I say reckless, they're reckless abandon on the bases. They create a lot of tension on the bases, probably a better way to put it. So it'll be a different kind of baseball for us right there. But it'll be a well-rounded opportunity for us by the time we do hit conference to be prepared for a lot of different things defensively.
Talk about Irvine and Riverside. I mean, it's no secret that a lot of these schools have, really famous baseball programs, and you guys are creeping into that size that they're at, and you don't have to be this huge powerhouse school to be able to have an amazing baseball program. Do you look to any of those and kind of take any hints from what they're doing? And
Yep, we do. And I probably said Irvine, I meant Riverside. I appreciate you throwing both of them out there. We went to the West Coast last year, and it was different for us. The type of baseball they play is a little more challenging on the bases. We weren't used to that. This is a little more, the baseball and the people we were used to in our leagues sat in there and had 27 outs. They took a lot of swings and didn't create as much tension on the bases as West Coast did and WAC did for us. Now with Riverside and some other people, it's the same thing. What you're asking me is, do we look at a program like that? Yes. Here's the difference. There's three states that dictate professional baseball. The great state of Texas, Florida, and California. And if you go through and you look at those 3 states, each of those states have teams that have won collegiately baseball at a super high level, have gone to Omaha, done different things, been a top 20 program because they have a lot of players in their state. And our state's no different, and our state continues to get better every year. So if you look at the West Coast, yes, go back to the Long Beach days. Go back to when Augie started Fullerton. And I was part of the teams that competed against Augie's first championship team in '84. And so you go back and look at how those teams have grown. We have the same opportunity. When we go out and recruit, we talk to people about there are teams, there are programs, there are great universities who have an opportunity to attract great athletes to come in here and to help us win championships and build a program that can go to Omaha, just like they've had on the West Coast, and we're no different.
You mentioned those 5 freshmen that can come in and make an impact for you. Who are they? And what's the...
Yeah, Granger Studdard from Hayes High School, and Matt Sanchez, and have offensively really grown. Trey Hicks from Georgetown High School too, and Dylan Bine on the mound. He'll go to the mound this weekend for us, and Taylor Bailey, and all local around within probably 45 minutes to an hour of this campus. We'll all have an opportunity to participate and get after it this weekend. We have some other guys too. Tyler Davenport is another guy. 3 of those guys are probably going to land somewhere in the first couple games in our lineup. If not, 4 of them will get an opportunity to get out there and do some things. They've earned the right for us to peek in there and see how good they might be. They're very mature for freshmen, but you don't know for 100% sure until you get them into those games. And but all those guys, 4 of those guys have won championships when they were 16 years old, and they won championships when they were 17 years old in their summer league team.